Getting our friends together isn't as easy as it used to be. We get it. Life comes at you fast. But trust us, your pals are desperate for a good hang. And when they hear you stock the party with drinks from Drizzly, they'll be banging down your door. Let Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery, take care of the supplies. All you need is an excuse. It doesn't even have to be a good one. It's your dog's birthday. The loquats are finally ripe. Whatever. With Drizzly, you can compare prices on a massive selection of beer, wine, and spirits and get them delivered straight to your door, which means you can entice the crew to leave their houses without ever leaving yours. Whatever the occasion, download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com. Today. Must be 21 plus. Not available in all locations. Man, I wish they had Drizzly when I used to play D&D and Riffs. Maybe it's time for me to start again. Thanks, Drizzly.
The podcast playground.
Hooray! Hey, it's my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, sing. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Hi-ho, Jesse Blaze Snider here, the coolest geek alive. And I'm so excited to talk to you guys, as always. I mean, it's kind of getting annoying, though. I'm doing this music show every Monday, and on Mondays, I just talk about favorite bands of mine that, don't get enough respect. So I get to just gush and be like, yay, music, music. If you want to check out that show, it's called All Your Favorite Bands Suck. It's on every Monday. There's like 3 episodes out so far. But I'm going to be doing that for the foreseeable future. Got a long list of bands I want to get to. But it's such a bummer, man, because I love music, and that's why I'm doing the show. And I love comics, and that's why I'm doing the show, and geek culture stuff, and great books, and science fiction, and fantasy. And, dude, holy shit. It's all bad news. It's not a lot of good news. I mean, granted, there's some great things going on in the culture right now. There's a real repudiation of all of this cultural meddling that's going on. And look, for those of you who haven't sat with me before, me, at my heart, foundationally, I am very liberal. The majority of things that might change in a movie or whatever that people get annoyed about, they tend not to bother me. I don't really care. I care though how the injection of these things into the material is destroying the quality of the material. I was talking to a good friend of mine yesterday rather, about how the executives, they weren't very good at locating talent yesterday. Okay, so if we go back 10 years ago when they weren't really letting a lot of females lead books or films or whatever it was, or letting a lot of ethnically diverse characters be the leads, they were trying to find the best quality creative people they could find. And it was like an accident when it would happen. But it would happen occasionally. It would happen. Now, it's actually gotten so easy for them to superficially select what they're looking for that they've gotten even worse at selecting for talent. Oh, I need a black person. That person's black. Yes, but are they talented? You want a talented comic book writer who's black? Hire Christopher Priest. He exists. He's brilliant. There's probably more, but you're going to have to find them. You're going to have to find the really talented, creative people. They're not just going to show up to you. If they show up to you, that means that they have the energetic skill of being enterprising, being able to sell themselves well, various skills, not talent. Writing talent and creative talent is not hand in hand with an ability to push yourself into a meeting and be the right demographic for a given job. There are plenty of people who fit the right demographic. And when you get into these demographics that you're looking for, when you're looking for a white male, it's a little bit easier in America to find a white male. It's a little bit harder to find more ethnically diverse groups. It just simply is if you go look at a census for America. So now what happens, though, and just go with me here because you have to understand this. If I go into a smaller group to look for talent, it's more difficult. The larger the group, the more likely you are to get talent, which is why it should just be an open call for talent, and there shouldn't be any sort of limitations being put on this because, as I say all the time, we don't want a diverse NBA, okay? You don't want a bunch of 5'9" white guys playing in the NBA. We want the tallest and the most savvy at basketball players that we can find so we can have a great game of basketball against the greatest players on earth. That's what we want in comic books. In Marvel and DC should be two different rosters of creative teams that are the greatest creative teams on earth. And I'm sorry if it's a little bit heavily skewed when it comes to white men. We have been marketed to for the longest. There's a lot of people who are built into this community who happen to be white people. You know, that doesn't mean that they're not capable of writing all sorts of things, bringing more diversity in, whatever else, and doing a very good, incredible job. You know, an assumption of, oh, well, you're white, so you don't know. Like, that's ridiculous. Especially for somebody like me who's gone next level beyond, you know, this 3D world that you guys are living in. I mean, like, I'm exploring my past lives and stuff, and you could think that that's all bullshit all you want, like, if you're somebody who does. A contemplation of ideas like this are far superior for creating things and thinking creatively about the universe and science fiction and fantasy than living in your little box can ever do. And once you break out of that thing and you're looking at the possibilities of energy recycling itself over and over again, there is no black, there is no white, there is no gay, there is no straight. There's just energy. There's just people who are coming in and out and back and forth. And clearly, if I've been coming back and forth on planet Earth, I've been black and I've been white and I've been male and I've been female and I've been gay and I've been straight and I've been on this side of the battle and I've been on that side of the battle. That's how it goes. And when you come to really understand these concepts, because it's not, you know, you sit there and you go, oh, reincarnation and the past life. It's not about that. It's about math, man. You're just a little ball of energy, mathematical energy. And then a life adjusts what that mathematical energy looks like. And now that same mathematical energy gets put somewhere else. And a life adjusts what that energy looks like. And the other side of things, which is intelligent, is putting this energy specifically places where it will grow in the ways that it needs to grow. So there's an intelligence to what is going on here beyond this silly differences and whatnot. And you know what? I will take reincarnation, whatever else, if it's silly, whatever other stuff or whatever, because it's better than this notion of, okay, we're just going to fight over each other and like we'll never understand each other and there's no even playing field for us. Like that's a losing battle, definitely. So I'm not going to stick with that. But people who think like me, dude, I'm capable of writing any race and any sex and any all I do is put myself in other people's bodies and other people's minds and in other people's situations. All I do is try to study and understand what other people are going through and interacting with other people and trying to learn about other people so that I could bring it forth into stories. People who are like drawing a circle around themselves and going, look at this definitive article, me. I'm going to take me and I'm going to inject it into every single thing I write. Nobody's looking for that. I mean, there's pretty much no you that can be injected into everything that anybody is interested in, unless the you that's being injected into everything is you loving and caring about everybody enough to try to entertain them and try to make them happy. That's the kind of you need in great entertainment. You need a you who is empathetic to the audience, doesn't want to waste the audience's time, wants to make sure that any time the audience gives to them is being used effectively for your benefit. You know, you want to start a business, you start a business that thinks, especially in today's day and age, you got to start a business that is thinking about the people, you know, that is giving to the people. So, you know, the way that these things are being done now, the way that these things are being spoken about now, all this individualism, and I say this all the time, and I hate this. I hate saying this out loud because it aggravates me to be associated with these stupid terms, because terms are limiting. Terms allow for people to discriminate against you. So sitting there and breaking up the LGBTQ plus, like it's stupid. This is stupid. Everybody's unique. Like the silly thing, the intellectual thing that gays and people on the spectrum recognize, and I'm there, so I recognize it, is that everybody is freaking a unique snowflake. Everybody's got different energetic vibrations and balances, and people are different. Different. It's hard for us to see that sometimes because people present the same. You know, there are only so many fashion styles at any given time, and only so many haircuts, and only so many skin tones. So you look around, and a lot of people look the same. But as you know, there's a great movie, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which is I highly recommend. Homework assignment: go watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I just watched it with my kids the other day. It's such a great movie. We were laughing our asses off. Which is all about people looking a certain way and being presumed to be a certain way because of how they look. And that happens all the time in life. And I'll tell you this, and I know I'm not the only one. When I learned about this as a young person, I started to functionally work against people's superficial judgments when they would look at me. I would do things very purposefully, style myself in different ways, dress in ways, get tattoos, whatever it might be, to send signals to other people to confuse them about who I was. Because I didn't like this idea that people were just looking at other people and thinking that they knew things. That really pissed me off. I'm not the only one. There's a lot of motherfuckers like me out in the world who are literally looking like homeless people because they want you to doubt them. They want you to be self-righteous and superficial and stupid. They want you to show yourself for the lame person you are. And they're setting you up to do it. And dude, like, society just got majorly set up to freaking embarrass itself on that level. Right now, the left, the liberal, the people who care the most have taken over the conversation, have taken over the landscape, the presumably bleeding hearts of the world. And these motherfuckers on the top of this pile are some of the nastiest people you will see on the internet. I mean, and it's so much worse than all that because really what they do constantly is label and dehumanize. And they're very quickly to call people white supremacists for being essentially centrists of yesterday. And now their center position is extreme right because the extreme left moved the goalpost. They moved the goal. And then they went, you're standing in the wrong spot now because we moved that. Like, guys, this isn't how it works. I'm all about opening up society's mind and progressing ourselves forward. But you don't force everybody to do it. You know, not every story, science fiction story, has to be about some asexual future. There's a lot of people who aren't exactly ready for that or thinking in that place, and that is like kind of future science fiction for people who are looking for that and looking to explore themselves in those ways. It's not to be like forced down the throat of other people, especially because that's the worst way to give it to them. They'll reject it. When you try to force feed somebody, they start choking. Stop! What are you doing? I'll feed myself. Don't shove that down my throat. And that's what's happening right now. What up, guys? Jesse Blaze Snider here. And whether your resolution is to save money, eat better, or stress less, HelloFresh is here to help you do all three. Say hello to your most delicious year yet with fresh ingredients and chef-crafted recipes at a price point you'll like, delivered right to your door. So you've resolved to actually sit down and eat dinner around the table like me. But what do you do about those nights when your schedule's packed, like mine always is? Turn to HelloFresh's lineup of quick and easy meals, including their 15-minute recipes designed to help minimize mealtime stress. It's really awesome, actually. My brother, Shane, he was doing Twitch, and he had a sponsorship from HelloFresh. So me and my girlfriend at the time, we got a bunch of HelloFresh meals, and we ended up doing it for a few months because it was just awesome. It was super convenient. The biggest thing about it that I liked was that I didn't feel like I was wasting food all the time because everything was cut into portions exactly what you needed for the meals. And the meals were delicious. You know, my girl was making them mostly, and I mean, they were really great and usually pretty easy to get done, like fast and stuff. I really highly recommend HelloFresh. It's quite a cool experience to just have that food show up to your door. Here's the directions. Here's everything pre-cut. And, you're just cleaning up the dishes to get it done. So go to HelloFresh.com/CoolGeekFree and use code CoolGeekFree for free breakfast for life. I'm so excited to offer that to you. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/CoolGeekFree with code CoolGeekFree. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. If you want to see a better world for diverse races and different sexualities, dude, don't force the straight people to eat our fucking food. Like, don't force it on them. That's not the way. That's how you cause civil war. That's how you cause strife. That's how you get all of like the really crazy people who are struggling with their heterosexuality, which you guys keep loving to mock. Dude, you want to know what happens when men are struggling with their sexuality and they feel pushed into a corner by their society and their government and everything's coming all around them trying to check? They fucking freak out. Are you trying to get us to a point where the people who are having difficulty with this are pushed into a corner and freaking out? Because that's what's going on. It's like a ha ha ha, I'm going to make you uncomfortable. I like making you uncomfortable. How is it that you are so quick to be like, oh man, that's triggering to me and this is damaging to me? But if they're triggered by gays, you have no sympathy for the fact that they're triggered. They're triggered, man. Look, if the left is really the bleeding hearts that I thought we were, as I leaned left most of my fucking life, even though I've always been a centrist, because I really believe you got to try to see everybody's opinion and not like necessarily be like joining one side of the army. And I'm not a joiner. I don't join the battles. I'll defend myself. I'm not a fucking pussy. But this is just stupid. The moment it becomes a group, it's just idiotic conversations start taking place. And we're banging each other on the head with the different sticks. Yeah, it's my stick. And there's your stick. And that's it. It just goes back. So I don't do that. I stand in the center and I go, yeah, your stick looks like this. Can you understand what his stick is? Do you understand what his stick is? Maybe if we understood what the sticks were, we could put the fucking sticks down and create something from the middle. This is the place where we have to go. And I want to talk about these things, when I get a chance on the show, because we have to be the center of comics. We have to be the middle. We have to take the control away from the crazy people on the left, and we have to keep the control away from the crazy people on the right. Crazy dogmatic religious people and people who just like want to make everything about the repudiation of the left. It's not about that. It's about an imbalance. Everything is out of balance right now. It needs to be put into balance, and everything needs to be respected. And all these stupid token races and token gays and token trans and token characters, it's a tokenization of everything. The tokenization needs to go away, and we need to have some passionate people coming to write projects that they're passionate about, and the characters that are in the books are the characters that they wrote because they felt passionate about them and they saw fully formed characters in their mind, something beyond tokenism. That's what we need. We need people in the middle who are empathetic to both sides. We need stories that make you question both sides. We need stories that make you question things, make you think about issues, but not just in one way, not stories that direct you down a path, but stories that present the issues so you can look at them, so that you can feel them, so that you can feel how they affect people, so that you can empathetically get into the driver's seat of other people's lives and have a better idea about the world you're living in. That's great. That's important. How we're doing it right now, it's all fucked up. And, I'm using a ridiculous quote in my title. It's from the Holocaust. It's a long poem about how they came for these people and I wasn't one of those people, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for these people and I wasn't one of those people, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for the Jews and I didn't speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me. And this is really the thing when it comes to anybody going after different groups of people. And right now in our society, they are going after groups of people. They are trying to marginalize various people who are open-minded and critical thinkers and look under the surface as conspiracy theorists and try to cut off our access to news. And I'm sure if you're out there and you're like, there are a lot of conspiracy... Dude, I understand that some people end up getting hung up on the end result of the conspiracy theory. But that does not change the facts, that there were incongruent facts, things that didn't make any sense, that led them into such a tizzy that they had to figure out some explanation for the things that don't make any sense on planet Earth that are going on. And I'm telling you, there is so much on planet Earth that is going on that doesn't make any sense. So just stop right there. Stop at, it's a conspiracy or whatever. Just stop at, this doesn't make any sense. Send this back to the kitchen and get me a fucking explanation. We need explanations. We need people freaking out about conspiracy theories because it means that people are looking at the facts. We don't want people to stop looking at the inconvenient truths. We need all of this flipped over. We need to understand what's going on. And right now we are being railroaded in so many different ways into this certain cultural position that I really believe is designed to cause unrest. And it has. Look at geek culture, where people who are generally lovers of fiction, like they're just all fighting with each other. The left, the right, we're just fighting. People that I would call and have considered prior to the past 10 years the greatest people on planet Earth. I know half the industry, whether it's the fans or the creative people, artists and writers, I know them. I've hung out with them. They're generally good people who want the world to be a better place. And I have watched them de-evolve into just shitty people who are being unkind to each other on a regular basis, people who have decided that they hate one another for various misunderstandings that they've had across the internet. My girl, Julie Bright, she always likes to say that she really thinks that people are way more on the same page than they realize, but they're very bad at communicating. And I would go that much further and say that the communication style or the communication languages used by the different sides actually prevent them from understanding each other. Because what the one thing means to the other person and what the other thing means to the other person, like just use a word like woke. You say woke to a somebody in the middle or on the right and they go, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. You say woke to somebody on the left, a lot of them get very defensive. A lot of them think it means something completely different. The definitions that we're holding in our hearts as we're sitting and communicating, you say God, and if you think about if somebody has some idea about a guy in a robe and slippers up in the sky who's a giant omnipotent being, like it really turns people off. But it's not even, you might be saying God to mean the infinite intelligence on the other side of things that is, fluid and energetic and is the totality of all the intelligence in creation, a mathematical God of constant reconfiguration and growth, but you said God. Well, that doesn't communicate. Like I have to say all that, or I have to say God, and that has to mean it for you, or you don't get that from me. And this is what's going on all the time. I mean, like we don't understand. The communication is off. Like these creative people, because I'm going to get into this in a second about just all this race swapping and gender swapping and sort of a general flipping of the script from the masculine to the feminine, and which is just so stupid because there's feminine entertainment that already exists, really great versions of it. Guys like to. Really great versions of masculine entertainment. women like too. You just have to get these things right. Instead, what we have here is some sort of like not ready for prime time trans allegory for entertainment, where they take the masculine thing and they try to feminize it up into something that's just sort of like a, but it ends up being not a part of the polarity. It's in the middle. Polarity is a wonderful thing on planet Earth because it's what teaches us the most, from one extreme to another. But instead, we've got this beige, this brown, that isn't really useful to teach you anything. And for the left, they see like each project and every person who gets turned gay or whatever it might be, it's like as an individual act. They're not seeing the whole, the big picture. Okay? And that's today what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the fucking big picture right here, okay? Because look at this. I mean, for years now, I've been going, man, like, what do we have left? X-Files? When coming to talk about fandoms. Because the fandoms are being, I mean, it started with them being tainted and devalued and fucked up in various ways. They've been destroyed. They've been destroyed. I have a list of 10 here that is like easy to fucking talk about, honestly. And it's just like, it's insane. And they're coming for the X-Files now. And let me just, we'll get into a little bit about the X-Files and what's going on there. Essentially, Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther, he has been brought in to run a new, more, quote, diverse X-Files show. Not a lot of things have been announced about it yet, but, okay, I come from Hollywood. I'm in the entertainment business. I know how these things work. Ryan Coogler's associations, Black Panther, Creed. He's a black director associated with black filmmaking. And that has been so much of the promo arm with him. Ryan's actually a very talented filmmaker. I'm sure Ryan doesn't necessarily love kind of being only a black, maybe he does, but being pigeonholed in this way. Hollywood does this to everybody. You direct one comedy, they want you to make only comedies. You direct a horror movie, they want you to make only horror movies. So Ryan Coogler is the guy who makes really empowering black entertainment. And he's been attached as the executive producer for X-Files to make a diverse reimagining of the X-Files. This is it, guys. This is everything that you hear before the thing is destroyed. Nothing has survived this process, with the exception of Ghostbusters has made a comeback. And it made a comeback by completely repudiating the Ghostbusters all-female-led reboot that was so maligned from, was it 2015 or 2016? They did it in a number of different subtle ways to the fans, like not initially including Ghostbusters in a DVD box set and completely ignoring the film when they came back with their reboot, which was pretty solid. It was a lot of fan baiting and a lot of whatever, but it was very well done fan baiting. Fan baiting that I would go back and do again. Usually fan bait kind of stuff isn't exactly my thing, but it was a lovely love letter to Ghostbusters. The new trailer for the new movie looks fun. Looks like something in that world maybe that I could enjoy. I'd like to. Fans would like to. So it's not really hard to please us. It's kind of insane how bang up a job you guys have really done in pissing us off, because we sit there, we're like perpetually optimistic and maybe the next one, and we're the guys who stick with the book series. We come back month after month to read the comic. We come back year after year to pick up that novelization, series, and make sure that we get to the end of the book. Oh, maybe it's going to turn around. Once you got us hooked, we want to find out what happens. But not so much anymore. So, the X-Files, new and diverse, executive produced by Ryan Coogler. What is Hollywood telling us? They're telling us, get ready for the Black X-Files. And I'm sure there will be more going on than just that. Hopefully they get great people. Hopefully it's really well done. But, as we've seen a million times before, when your foundational idea for your new series is diversity, that's not enough. That's not enough. You're not going to make something great creating something that is foundationally diverse, unless you literally decide that the whole idea of the story that you're making is about diversity. Like when my hero Jim Henson created Fraggle Rock. Fraggle Rock is about world peace. His idea was world peace. How do I teach people world peace? Well, what if I made a show that introduced 5 distinct races of people who were all distinctly different? And then what if over the course of the seasons that we have, we slowly have these people who start off as not friends and really sort of like against each other and almost opposed to each other, slowly but surely come to understand one another until they're all friends and all living harmoniously together by the end of the series. Brilliant idea, Jim Henson. Okay, so if you wanted to do a show that was about diversity, you have to think like that. You have to invent something. Like X-Men. The X-Men is about diversity to some degree. It was sort of reinvented by Chris Claremont in that way when he recognized that, oh my God, there would be mutants of all variety all over planet Earth. They wouldn't just be in the United States. And then all of a sudden, it really does become this wonderful melting point, because what is the commonality that all these people share? Their mutant abilities. They're all mutants. They're all being chased by the people who aren't mutants. And so they feel persecuted together as a group, and they're coming together, and there's people who are coming together to try to beat up the humans because they're pissed off, and there's other mutants who are coming together to try to stop that because they want to show the mutants that they're the humans that they're actually really good people. Oh my God, what a great, simple metaphor for diversity. Wonderful stories that play on that come out of the X-Men all the time. And ultimately the foundational thing, which doesn't have to be said ever, is this great diversity. Because these people are coming from every different group on planet Earth, and who knows who we might find. And isn't it, we want their powers to be different, we want their skin to be different, and we want their hair to be different, we want their clothes to be, we want it all to be different for these interesting groups. The mutants, the whole foundational idea of a mutant is that he has unique powers. Like, great. Make something like that, and then there you go. You have a diversity vessel where it will be artistic. It will be great because it was foundationally thought of from the very beginning as a tool and a vessel for diversity, and then we were able to get the most out of it. You know? And that's not saying that you should go to like something like the X-Men and like retool it or add more like it is already it's already built in. So like something like that has already been invented. You don't have to reinvent these wheels. Reinventing these wheels is the problem. And I mean, that's what they did. You know, I made a little list here, and you know, some of these are less egregious than others, but I mean, they're all pretty freaking emphatic. Dead fucking franchises. First one is G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe is fucking dead, man. Hasbro's, I mean, granted, like, G.I. Joe was not necessarily, like, the biggest one ever. So G.I. Joe needed to be handled well, especially because it's got the American thing at a time where, like, you know, that is, like, really, like, not necessarily a favorite subject story, or, you know, patriotism or whatever. So certainly some other things have not played into this, but I guarantee you a great patriotic G.I. Joe movie that played like G.I. Joe and was like stylistically similar to some of how the comics had been done, and it would work. It would be great. They've never done that. The G.I. Joe movies they've made are fucking awful. They're nothing like the comics or any of the cool stuff that has actually come from that franchise. And there's some cool stuff from that franchise. Even though I'm like kind of an anti-military guy. I mean, not that I'm against you if you've been in the military. I so appreciate your service. I don't like war, and I really believe that the military-industrial complex and the governments are always taking advantage of everybody, and they're using innocent people to go fight their stupid wars. And I don't want to see anybody be dying in their stupid wars. So, you know, it's not necessarily my favorite thing, but when you distill the American ideal, you know, what being an American is supposed to mean, there's great stories to be told. And when there are these cackling evil villains that we can go punch in the face like Cobra Command is, well, great. that's fun, and that's a great great way to waste some time and let off a little steam and get excited about something and feel some passion. These stories could be good. But G.I. Joe and the Snake Eyes movie. Snake Eyes is the character that matters the most to G.I. Joe. Snake Eyes is a character who is people's favorite character. There are people on planet Earth who are walking around, a lot of them, with G.I. Joe tattoos and stuff associated specifically with Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is a white guy. He's a mute. But apparently that was thought to be like, oh no, we can't have a white guy who does martial arts better than anybody else. And they made him Asian. And they completely changed the story. They threw everything out the window that had ever mattered to any fan of G.I. Joe, period. And the G.I. Joe film for the Snake Eyes, which bombed terribly, and could have been, I promise you, that movie could have been huge. That could have been the new John Wick series if they had done that right. And nope, they destroyed it. And they destroyed it for the fans, and the fans weren't interested. They said, who the fuck is this? That's not Snake Eyes. I don't know this guy. And they moved on with their lives. So you got that. G.I. Joe at number 10, giving Snake Eyes the once over. Their toys ain't selling, and nobody's interested in trying G.I. Joe again. Even though, like I said, they did it wrong 3 times. They did G.I. Joe 1, G.I. Joe 2 was a little better, but the stupid first one had these power arms. The G.I. Joe guys don't have power armors. They're just freaking awesome military men. The best military men that the American government has, that's it. Like, it's a simple fucking concept. And then you just start thinking about the most badass people that might be working for the military to do whatever, and what are they like, and what formed them and shit. Like, it's cool people. G.I. Joe is really cool. Could be done really well. It's freaking disappointing to see it handled so poorly. At number 9, I got The Matrix. So we got The Matrix, and we got The Matrix trilogy, which is all founded on the idea that what? Neo is the one. So now we got the Matrix reboot, and no, Neo wasn't the one. Trinity was the one. The whole time. It was Trinity. It's just Trinity. Boys can't be the one. Girls have to be the one. There it is. Just okay. So we got our white Snake Eyes is now Asian Snake Eyes. We got the one was a boy, now it's a girl. Now 3, Terminator. The Terminator franchise Dark Fate, which knocked off Edward Furlong's character in the first 10 minutes of the movie, erasing all the meaning and everything that really Sarah Connor cared about, her son. And then she's in the movie and Arnold's in the movie being weird. And now we've got Lady Terminator and Lady John Connor and John Connor's mom, who's there. Kaz. Are we sensing a pattern here? Okay, now we've got Masters of the Universe. Number, what is that? 10, 9, 8, 7. Masters of the Universe. New season from Kevin Smith. The first episode, they kill He-Man. And they replace him with his lady best friend from the animated series and toy line, Teela, who we like Teela, but she's not the main character. She's certainly not a character that we're all that interested in. And then Teela takes over the series. They did the same thing in the Scott Pilgrim Must Die series on Netflix. They killed Scott in the first episode of the Scott Pilgrim series. I just don't understand this thing of tricking people into watching stuff and then pulling the rug out from under them in terms of what they were expecting versus what they get. Now we can go on to Star Wars next. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Star Wars. Fucking Star Wars. Star Wars. Well, Luke is now Daisy Ridley. And we've got the Force is female across the board. We've got the diversity of Sith characters that are now just black women with braids. And like, I love a black woman with braids, man, but she's not a Sith. She's not a fucking Sith. I'm all well and good with black women and powerful black women, but that doesn't make any sense. Like, where's the menace in this chick hanging out with her braids? Like, seriously. Like, it'd make more sense for her to have natural hair, for one, and some sort of helmet or something cool going on with her besides the fact that she's just a tough black lady. What is this? You guys are fucking tone deaf. You're missing the whole thing. Star Wars has certainly transformed and killed itself. At 5, you got Marvel, the MCU. I mean, do I have to talk about that? All of the brand new day, the forced diversity, or was that what it was called? They were in the comics. They did like this major forced diversity for a little while, and some of it was successful. A couple of these things happened naturally. Like Miles Morales came about fairly naturally, and was introduced very well by Brian Michael Bendis, and people got a chance to really get to know and like that character. Falcon becoming Captain America, in the comics a lot of time had passed, so I mean, like, there was a little bit of like a precedence for that, and we knew that it wasn't going to be for forever, it was just going to be for a minute. So I mean, some of that was okay, but in general, most of the stuff that was introduced at this time, from your Ironhearts and your Miss Marvel, a really big push to upgrade the original Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers, into Captain Marvel and make her a top-tier Marvel hero. There was just a lot of big pushes very hard in this whole switching everything around direction. It's really just the step away from the white male. I mean, this is like just every single one of these franchises is just like stepping away from our white male lead, which just, it's so fucking aggravating. It is racist. It's reverse racist, guys. I mean, I'm sorry if you're out there and you're black and you're sitting there, Jesse, you don't know about that. You don't know about my fucking experience. You don't know. You don't know. And this notion that the black experience is so fucking unique to every other difficult experience that can be had. No, man. Everybody's black experience is different. Everybody's white experience is different. Everybody's experience is different. And it's just so fucking insulting when anybody sits there and tries to like make it about themselves in this way of like, my story cannot be beat. And I don't want to sit here and like talk about fucking chronic pain or being the child of a celebrity and feeling like you're fucking nothing, and people treating you like you're nothing and treating you like you're an object, and so many fucking things that you will never understand. But I'm not trying to go around into the world and tell people about how they could never understand my journey. I'm sure you can understand to some degree. I'm sure there's some version of the thing that you're dealing with in your own life. Black experience, white experience, we all experience similar things. It's just at different times and under different circumstances that we experience it versus other people. We can't be putting up all these fucking walls. I just like heard somebody talking the other day, and it was just this constant to back around to like, you know, it was just a black person talking about the black experience, like, it's so insulting. What we always wanted was equality, not this imbalance. We're now, the fact that there's a conversation about specific trauma or torture based on specific groups, that we can now just like play this card all the time. I mean, my family is of Jewish descent. We were fucking in the Holocaust. But I don't play these cards. I'm saying this stuff because it's like, unfortunately, it's like the only way to like give yourself a leg to stand on, to say, hey, look, I'm non-binary technically, but I hate that fucking term, and I hate all these things, and like, you know, I present very straight, and like, whatever, I'm my own unique person. If you go into the definition of like what that actually means, well, it means like somebody who doesn't necessarily feel like I'm a man or feel like I'm a woman. I didn't feel strongly that thing. I had to kind of learn some of these things. Everybody's journey is different. I don't need to fucking be telling people that I'm non-binary. And I don't like all the ways in which it turns me into like a little pill that you could swallow. Fuck you. Don't swallow my freaking little pill. I'm not that pill. I'm not non-binary. I'm Jesse. I'm fucking weird. It's like, you want to know what Jesse means, like, you need to freaking actually be sticking with me and understand. You can't just sum me up. Don't just sum me up. Don't fucking insult me by suggesting that I'm a white person. Fuck you. Like, seriously. Fuck you. And your reverse racist garbage. And if you don't see that that's reverse racist, you're just as bad as all the racists ever were. You're one of the racists who was black. If you are doing that and you're black or Hispanic or whatever it is you are one of the white racists, but you're in a black body. You're one of the racist souls in the black or Hispanic or whatever it is skin. That's what it looks like. Racism on this side, racism for that side. You want to draw a little box around us and separate us and make us all so different. That's you focusing on the wrong shit. You're doing it. It's lame. It's really fucking lame. I wish we could just move past that conversation. Continuing down my list, we've got Indiana Jones, which Indiana Jones, it got saved at the last minute on some levels. But ultimately, what did we get in this Indiana Jones movie? They were trying to replace Indiana Jones with the lady Indiana Jones. They literally, based on the leaks, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest this was true, they had planned to kill young Indiana Jones in the past so that he would have been dead before he did any of the things in the other movies. And then she was going to take over as Indiana Jones from that moment forward. Oh, how clever. Now girly Indiana Jones has to redo all the movies, I guess. So Indiana Jones is dead. At number 3, we've got Doctor Who, most recent bit to the list. And like, you know, now that I look at like my fucking list here, I'm like, I don't know if I like my ordering of my numbers and my stuff here. And I'm not sure if The Matrix necessarily was on it. I was going to maybe get rid of it because I was like, I don't know if it's dead. Maybe they could make another Matrix movie. I don't think so though. And I think in general the audience kind of went, what the fuck? So I mean, I kind of think it deserves to be on the list, so I left it. But I'm like, man, is there a better example? But I'm not sure. Not off the top of my head right now. Doctor Who, yeah, Doctor Who. The last season of Doctor Who, they switched to a lady doctor. They retconned the origin. They made it so that the Doctor's not always been a man, and literally his first incarnation ever was a woman, and it was lots of different incarnations of all sorts of diversity and whatnot. And I guess we've just been dealing with these white British doctors. 'Cause reasons. It's so funny. And now, in the new series of 3 specials that they made, they brought back the Dave Tennant Doctor Who, brought back his girlfriend that everybody loved, gave her back her powers that were supposed to kill her, made her the most powerful doctor because she's a female, then passed on powers to her trans daughter and made her the even more most powerful doctor because she's trans and therefore has both the masculine and female energy in balance. Let me tell you something about most trans people that I know. Most trans people, I would tell you, do not necessarily yet have all of their masculine and feminine energy in balance. That's part of the reason why they feel out of whack and feel the need to make these changes to make themselves feel more in line with the energy inside themselves. In fact, the fact that most trans people are not really being taught about energy and how energy works makes me so sad because there are so many aspects of this. I mean, I had a vasectomy, and because I'm very sensitive to my aura and my energy state because I've been meditating for a decade now, when they cut my tubes for my reproduction, like I felt it in a far more visceral way than just them cutting this tube. It affected me energetically like crazy. Like crazy. It messed up my sacral chakra for years. I've been like meditating and doing things to fix it. I could tell that there was a major, major shift from just snipping 2 tubes in my system. What is that doing to a person when they go in and they're really messing around in this place? Unfortunately, we don't know enough, and American medicine does not look at the energetic body, doesn't look at sort of like the Eastern medicine ideas about things, and we really need to understand these things a little bit better, at the very least, to help guide these people who are going through these processes so that it's not worse for them. And you know, anybody, I'm sure that's a very difficult thing to go through and want to go through in the first place, and to be having problems like on that front that I know no doctor is walking them out of the thing. You may feel a little strange in your sacral chakra from the fact that we've removed your penis. Like, whoa, like they didn't remove my penis, they just cut my tubes, and it was a huge deal. So, like, you know, just there's so many aspects to this thing where we talk about this stuff and we're being a little bit irresponsible on one level or another. The idea that a trans person is like a balance of, well, yeah, but you don't have to adjust yourself in any way, shape, or form to be like a trans human, to be something that's in the middle of male and female. And, like, you don't necessarily have to present in any way, shape, or form as a trans. Like I said, I'm technically like probably non-binary or whatever. But like I don't fucking talk like that. And I'm balanced. I'm a balanced guy. I'm masculine when I need to be masculine. I'm feminine when I need to be feminine. I was kind of found myself to be more feminine when I was younger, just at my heart. And I had to, like, you know, kind of learn to be masculine, but I have. And I, you know, I play sports and, you know, make creative things. And, you know, I'm a very balanced being. Guys can be balanced. Women can be balanced. Trans people can be balanced. Gay people can be balanced. But it's not necessarily true. And in the trans community in particular, and you know, that's it generally in the younger trans community in general, you have a lot of people who are, on some levels, very much struggling energetically speaking. And if they go full in with transitioning or whatnot, they may have additional struggles energetically and whatnot that will take a while to get over. It was not overnight that I was able to fix my sacral chakra, and that's a much smaller thing that happened to me with me getting my tubes cut for a vasectomy. Dude, it was really like, if knowing what I know now, I never would have did it. Never would have did it. So I mean, it, like, you know, these are real things. And when we have these conversations, like in Doctor Who, and they're like, she's perfect, she's a trans, but like, whoa, okay. Like, because the conversation's not being had in enough good ways. I'm somebody who really has seen that surgery can be very traumatic for lots of people. I know that, not lots of people, really for everybody, surgery is traumatic. But, you know, if you need to do that, I understand. But I would way rather live in a world where most of the trans people were people who came into balance within themselves, came to understand that they were a little bit of both, or whatever it might be, or one thing or the other, and could find some peace without having to injure themselves in any way. And those people who go on that path to find energetic balance, and not just trans people, everybody goes on this balance for the most part, straight people, and we all do. We're all trying to balance ourselves, you know, and become a more reasonable person than we were yesterday. And that is becoming like a woman. You get into a relationship when you're a man, and you're trying to become more agreeable with your woman, and the woman is trying to please and play the games that the man is asking. You know, he's like, I need this, that, or the other thing. I said, okay, well, how can I meet him halfway? Well, what is that? That's a man and a woman. Both a man's feminizing himself to be more helpful to his spouse, and the woman's masculizing herself to be more supportive of her man. That's what happens. Every relationship is a balance, you know, and it's like that in every relationship. Gay relationships are the same thing. You know, gay people are just like straight people. We're always looking for an energetic balance to ourselves. And it's like, you might be looking for a man and I'm looking for a woman, but you're looking for a certain type of man. You know, do you like a masculine man? Do you like a feminine man? You like somebody who's soft, who's quiet? You like somebody who's sweet? You like somebody who's really tough? You like somebody who's loud, who has a lot of energy? Everybody's got a different type. You know, I like tough women. I like women who, like, you know, have a little bit of attitude and sense of humor, and like, who I don't feel like would like jump out of their skin if a bug showed up. Like, I hate that. I hate women who are like scaredy cats. Like, if a woman's like, oh my God, like, I want to kill her. Like, I don't like women who are like all prissy, and it drives me fucking nuts. So I look for a very specific type. And everybody's got some very specific type. It doesn't matter what it is. But your type is because of the energy. Why do I like tough women? I'm really soft. I'm a soft guy. So I like these tough women because like I need that energy that's like tough. And I present tough, but I'm soft. And I tend to get these women who present feminine, but they're very tough. You know, these are the things that complement one another, and that's how you complement your energy. That's how you bring yourself to balance. So, you know, Doctor Who making this huge thing of like the most balanced doctor is the trans doctor. I just think it's such a misleading sort of thing, and this is no detraction from trans people. This is a lifting up of all people to that same thing where that trans person is being presented in Doctor Who. We are all capable of this wonderful balance of our masculine and feminine. If you ever want to study this subject a little bit so that you can actually talk about it a little bit, go study Hermeticism and the principle of gender. And the principle of gender will just explain to you that essentially there are only two energies in the universe: masculine energy, feminine energy. Those are the two energies. Everybody has them. Everybody has them in different balance. If you look at it as like a percentage thing, this person might have 1% masculine and 99% feminine. Somebody else might have 1% masculine and or 1% feminine and 99% masculine. Or it's 23 and 63, or like, you know, or it's 50-50, whatever it might be. Everybody's dealing with some version of this mix of energy. And from that mix of energy, everything else is created. So, you know, this Doctor Who thing, it's bullshit. All of these characters are capable of being, you know, incredible. I mean, granted, if they said Doctor Who as a woman had some sort of magical gift because she could give birth, I'd believe that. That is a practical idea. That is true. You know, and men have some other practical advantages because all of our creation of our body energy didn't go into us being ready to make babies. You know, it went more into our structure and our bone density and these other things. There are advantages, but everybody is capable of balancing their masculine and their feminine energy. Everybody is capable of being the one, like we see in this show. All right, getting down to the last two for today. We've got, well, I'm reordering these. I don't know why I put it in this order. Number two, we got Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, Amazon gets a hold of the thing. They put all this money into it, all the money to the award. Their first season of their shows won awards. Now they're promoting it as having won awards. What did they win awards for? Technical shit, you know, like sets and stuff. But everybody hates your show. Everybody hates it, and the biggest problem is you took the most feminine character in all of literature and you made her into a badass boss bitch, and you ditched her husband, and you ditched fucking common sense about the Tolkien universe, and you ditched freaking any sort of idea of like continuity for your in-world dynamics. You know, like there were ways that they could have added other races into the Lord of the Rings show and had it make sense. There's a number, I'm not going to get into them right now, but there was a number of ways that various friends and I had talked about a while ago on one of the shows that they could have done this in a better way. Case in point, the House of the Dragons, you know, they've got their like brother from another mother who lives on an island or whatever, and he's got dreadlocks, and he's a light-skinned black guy. And great way to get in some diversity, makes the characters different. That's cool. That's a cool, sensible way to go about achieving the thing that you want to achieve while still pleasing the audience and making sense of it, you know? But none of that going on here. We got boss bitch Galadriel and just this whole freaking muck of just, again, diversity for diversity's sake and just trying to culturally terraform the planet. And that's it. We've talked about the conspiracy. This is a conspiracy. This is intentional. They have intentionally targeted the most gigantic and important science fiction, fantasy, and book-based things that are based on existing properties that they could. All of the biggest properties known to man, including my favorite of all time. Close second to the Muppets. Star Trek. Star Trek at number 1. I'm so glad that I was a part of kind of accidentally rigging the vote. Somehow Star Trek did not end up in the main line for the votes for the next Geek Culture on Trial that my friends at Film Threat have been doing. We did Star Wars earlier in the year, and I was a guest defendant. I defended Star Wars once, and then I did a lot of impersonations. I was impersonating various celebrities in the Star Wars universe, just helping them with their show. And it was a lot of fun. And at the end of it, there was a vote for what should be next. And somehow in the initial rounds, Star Trek didn't make it in. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Star Trek should be in the final round with these things. Star Trek has been destroyed worse than any of them. And guess what got voted to number 1? And guess what is indeed the next on trial? It's Star Trek. Star Trek on Trial. So I'm fucking excited about that, to go and actually be able to talk about this stuff. But at the same time, I don't want to have to watch any of it to freaking talk about it. I watched just as little as I had to. When I saw what they had done to my beloved franchise, when I saw that their answer to Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek, was Star Trek Discovery, which was essentially, for those of you who don't know, a Star Trek Black Ops show. Black Ops, meaning secret, dark, clandestine, killing people, not Star Trek. They're trying to tell us that in the future, the human race is just as bad as it's ever been. Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. And our ethnically diverse sister to Miss Spock. This show was everything the left needed. This show is everything the left is supposed to represent. Or it was. The amplified version of the thing leaves nothing to be desired. And any benefit that it could have been to humanity to watch Star Trek, well, it still exists for the original and for the Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and Voyager and Enterprise. But this new Star Trek that they've made has no artistic value for planet Earth. None of this stuff does. Nothing on this list is food for your mind or your soul. All of these franchises are dead. And maybe a good Ghostbusters can bring them back to the Lord of the Rings, to Star Trek, to Doctor Who, to Indiana Jones, to Marvel. But I mean, I tell you what's got to happen. Lord of the Rings, somebody else needs to get a hold of the rights, and we need to try again. Star Trek, somebody else needs to get a hold of the rights, and we need to try again. Doctor Who, I don't know. At this point, can you repudiate everything that you just did? I don't think so. This was your chance. This last, these 3 specials, this was your chance to win the audience back. Nice try. Indiana Jones. Marvel. I mean, Deadpool better be great. And they better nail the X-Men and nail the Fantastic Four and get us the fucking meals that we ordered. Fucking just crazy. Star Wars. I think Star Wars is long gone. The people who were left hanging out were people who became fans later because they wanted to know the same things that the old friends who were old fans knew. But the old fans left a long time ago. And Kathleen Kennedy's still there. Now we've switched over to Dave Filoni, who I think is Kathleen Kennedy's bitch. I don't fucking see anything happening there. Masters of the Universe. Try Again. Terminator. I don't think there's any try again at this point. The Matrix, I don't think there's any try again at this point either. And G.I. Joe, fuck, man. Really sucks because G.I. Joe hasn't ever been done right. Their only hope is to do a low-budget movie that is like legit, based off some of the best comics, and do like a low-budget action, patriotic military movie. I think they could move the needle. I do think they could, but it's insane. Anyway, The X-Files. I didn't watch. I still haven't watched. I mean to watch, and maybe I will now. Maybe it'll be a fun thing for me because if I can find it somewhere to watch, I definitely want to get into the series. But Ryan Coogler, diverse cast. The X-Files is going to be on this list come next year or two. Mark my words. Disney has not learned its lesson. Not well enough. Well, that's it, Coolest Geeks. I'm your passionate geek culture commentator, Jesse Blaze Snider. You can write to me at jesseblaze@jessesnider.com. I love you all so much. I look forward to hearing from you all. And anyway, thank you for listening to my show. And I hope you'll join me again next Wednesday and this coming Saturday for another ass-kicking episode of The Coolest Geek Alive! You've been listening to Coolest Geek Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snider. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent geek culture content. Thanks for listening.
It's my favorite part. Isn't that heavy? I'll play that. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Coolest alive. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Stay with your tribe. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Revenge of the Geeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Week after weeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Laughing with you. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And crying sometimes too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Spelling it out. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Making you shout. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Talking some shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Living the shit. My voice gonna be fucking awesome. Food in our mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Get in the mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Tell all your friends. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Call right on text. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Raising the bar. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Straight to the stars. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It's starting soon. Straight to the top. Awesome. Passing the moon. It's gonna be fucking awesome. On with the show. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Ready, set, go. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Just wait. You'll see. You'll all see.
The Podcast Playground. Hooray!